And welcome to Jared's Reviews and Opinions. Today I'm doing RWBY Volume 5. Now, this video here is something more stuff I just want to see out of Volume 5. I already decided I want to see Team RWBY get back together. Team Juniper or what's left of Team Juniper, stay together or get a fourth. Get a fourth. What else to see? Oh yes, Oscar being trained by Crow in the ways of Ozpin, learning how to control the mind stuff like Ozpin did. Now something else I want to see is, and this is inevitable, is Team Sun again. Just because Neptune, come on, he's cool, can't beat that. More and another thing, Blake, I know she's heading. I know Yang is 90% of the way to Mistral. I know Weiss is flying there. She's probably just not getting, when we see her flying in the cargo hold, she's probably just not getting off the continent that the Atlas is on. She's probably just not getting off of that continent. So there's that. And we know RWBY's already there. So Blake is setting up to leave. She might take a boat just like Yang did, but she might walk it like RWBY did. I mean, the only way to get there is to take a boat or fly. So Blake might either fly or take a boat to get one of those two ways. She might either take a boat and walk, or find some kind of car and take that, or airship and take that, or take a plane and just land there in Mistral. And that's our options right there. Now, knowing Menagerie, she'll probably have to take the boat anyway to get to, I forget what the landmass is called that Mistral's on, but I'm going to call it Mistral for now. But she'd probably have to take a boat to get to the landmass that Mistral is on. So therefore, she would have to find the first airship, which is at Xion, which is destroyed. Thereby meaning she would have to walk, unless she finds another airship from some other village. And we only know about the one in Xion and the ones in the fortified city of Mistral. We only know about those. We don't know about any others. What about other continents? Now I know Yang took a boat, the same boat that Blake took to get to Menagerie. I know Yang's going to be there. I know Weiss is going to be there. RWBY's already there. Blake is heading there. She's packing, so to speak. She's packing. She's also bringing up old memories of what they used to do, try to bring the Fang back to its senses, essentially. Now I know that this is going to be hard, but you've got Crow, who is an expert fighter. Now, I think he should train RWBY some more in his ways of the scythe and her scythe as well, because you can still tell that her training for her weapon is still somewhat incomplete. You can tell by that in the way she uses it, the way she wields it, the way she moves it, and knows which options to use. Now, she does do that swiftly, but she also needs to learn when to attack and when to not attack, or when to take a defensive stance. And you see that a lot in Crow's fight with Tyrion. You see that a lot in their fight. Now, we know that Tyrion is, I'm going to call him criminally insane. He's a freaking psychopath, I guess is what it's called. Now, Tyrion, I'm pretty sure, no, what we see, we're definitely seeing in Volume 5, he's doing what Cinder did to Beacon. Cinder did to Beacon was, I'm going to say this, essentially a test run. Now, if they had tried it in Vacuo, it would not have worked. Atlas would have gone on high alert anyway, but the other two academies would have not been on as high alert as they should have been, which is why they went with Beacon first. Vacuo really is like laid back, no shirt, no suits, no ties, really laid back, kind of like I am. I don't like ties or suits or dressing up. I mean, I'm wearing freaking white t-shirts on camera. I mean, these are freaking undershirts I'm wearing. If I were to go live to a place, it would be Vacuo. But I like the desert, so I'd probably live somewhere more like Beacon or Vale. I think Mistral would be another good place for me. Yeah, I'd say a little more Mistral now because of where Vale is run. I like the cold at Atlas, and I like the desert at Vacuo. So and Vale is destroyed. There's really nothing left of Vale. They're evacuating everyone. It doesn't matter if they've got a safe zone established and all the Grim Raiders head straight to the school. It doesn't matter. They're going to evacuate everyone out there because they don't know if the Grim are going to overrun the school and start overflowing into the city itself. So they got to evacuate everyone out there. So my guess is they're evacuated into Mistral, which then RWBY could take an airship from there. So they're not evacuated into the Mistral because RWBY would just take one of those airships. So they're evacuated into somewhere else on the continent where Vale is. So they got it. So they're evacuated into somewhere else. Menagerie is already overflowing with Faunus. It's already overflowing. They got 2/3 desert. 2/3 desert. 2/3 desert. And they can't use it because the creatures there are so much worse than the ones in Vacuo. They can't because of their animals are more dangerous than any other part in the world. Which is why it's so cramped. Which is why what I think they should do is start just tearing down, just start going through and trying to destroy what those animals have. But the problem is that probably a lot of them live underground, therefore making it hard for them to get to. So they can't do that, so they gotta stay on the tropical, I'm gonna call it tropical side because I see palm trees and stuff, the tropical side of the island. So that's why they're there. It's probably because that's the safest part of the island. They're probably staying away from the desert spot or the parts that are where the desert and the tropical part meet. They probably stay away from those. They probably stay about a mile back from the desert begin point, and that's where they live. But you can see they all live in like one small town. That many Faunus, they need something bigger than Menagerie. Now there are Faunus all over the world, but most of them are centralized in Menagerie. Now the Fang is going to be trying to destroy Menagerie, but not like get rid of like the Huntsman schools. They want Menagerie as a recruitment center to recruit every single one. The Fang wants to recruit every single one of the Faunus in Menagerie. They tried it in Vale and won, but they used force in Vale. Whereas a lot of the Faunus are just peaceful people. It's like, and I'm sorry to be making this comparison to anyone that I'm fixing to offend, but it's like the religion of Islam. You have those peaceful people, it's 90% peaceful people, but you get the radicals in there, like the Vale branch of the Fang. You have the Vale branch of the Fang, and then you have all the other Fangs out there, my Fang branches out there, and the one in Vale is the meanest of them all. They're the radical Islams and I'm sorry if I offended anyone, but it's the truth. You get a lot of the Muslims in there, and they are very good people. They do what they have to do just to get by, like everyone else. But you get those few radicals in there, and they create what is called the bad apple of the whole barrel, which therefore spreads to the rest of the barrel. Which is why when the saying, the one rotten apple in the barrel, the whole barrel is rotten, is because that one apple can carry one rotten apple can carry all the bugs to all the other apples, therefore making them unable to be eaten. Which is why they always throw out the one barrel of the rotten apple. So that's why. That's what the Fang is. They're the Vale branch of the Fang is the rotten apple. That's the easiest way to put it. And some more stuff I want to see in Volume 5. I already said I wanted to see Crow train Oscar. Crow training Oscar. And what I like to see is John learn to use his sword a lot more. You see, he didn't learn to use it until he got with Pyrrha. He didn't really know too much about his weapon until he started working with Pyrrha. You didn't see that until Volume 1. I think it was after, I forget what the episode was called. but it was later on in the volume. Yeah, get that. And then Pyrrha is still trying him in Volume 2, and he's gotten a lot better. Volume 3, he's fighting on his own in Volume 3. Volume 3, he's fighting on his own. He's learning to fight on his own, but not as well as he should. And you see that with the Tyrion fight, he still doesn't know when to strike and when to take that defensive stance, like Crow. Crow has a scythe, but it's also a sword, it's also a gun, it's also a giant scythe. I mean, you can't beat that. That is the best weapon in the show. I mean, aside from the Maidens and the Relics. But the Maidens still could be defeated by Crow and his scythe, single-handedly. I mean, you see it when Cinder and Emerald and Mercury attack Amber, the Fall Maiden. The Fall Maiden. You see, they took 3 of them to destroy her, and Amber and Mercury, and no, not Amber. Emerald and Mercury did a lot of the damage. They were essentially a distraction so that Cinder could get her shots in, her arrow shots in, to actually kill her. But that, or stun her, disable her. But that didn't work because, you see, for Cinder to take all the power. But that didn't work because Crow stepped in and saved her, stopped the power from coming out, from going. That's what it did. But some more stuff I want to see from Volume 5. Cinder, she practically has mastery over her powers. She's just learning new forms and new ways to use it now that she never knew. So she's practically right where Amber is. Amber is there, right where she was. That's what Amber did. That's the place where Amber was. She was like, okay, how do I use my powers now? I'm still in training. Well, my thought is that even though that Cinder knows most of what she needs to know about the powers, she still doesn't know everything. No one will probably know everything. No one will ever probably know anything about everything about them, because it's going to change with every single maiden. Now, my guess is that we know that when the maidens die, their power is transferred to someone else. Now, I know, no, I'm guessing, I don't really know, I'm guessing that, the Spring Maiden will be shown off, so that we could see who the Spring Maiden is. And my guess is that the Spring Maiden, and this is another theory, that the Spring Maiden is with Raven and her tribe. Now, I'm not going off of that here. This is a totally different one. I'm guessing that the Spring Maiden is in Mistral. I'm guessing that the Spring Maiden is in Mistral. Probably learning her powers. But they've probably got a special school and stuff for them. And it's probably ingrained in their mind to go to this special school. Now, regardless, as Crow said, regardless, their souls are combined, meaning that probably all the information is transferred to what they know in their mind is also transferred. But probably the only information that gets transferred is what the powers can do, and maybe people who can teach them how to use the powers. That's why I'll also like to see some more backstory in Volume 5. I mean, every volume we've seen at least one backstory per person. Now, we know Ruby's backstory, Yang's backstory, and Blake's backstory. Why did we see that one in Volume 4? Volume 1 we learned the other three. We learned Ruby's, Yang's, Y's, and Blake's. Ruby and Yang was pretty easy, because, I mean, Ruby's came more from her trailer than Yang's did, and hers came more from Volume 2 than anything else. But we still learned a lot about her from Volume 1. And given that, it's hard, because I want to see some backstory outside. We know nothing about him except for what we've seen about him. We know nothing about him. I mean, what happened to his family or something. I'm guessing that he grew up in Vacuo, learned how to fight in Vacuo, but went to the Mistral Academy of Haven. because he didn't like the way Vacuo School was run, so he went there. Or his parents died before he could get to the Vacuo School. He went to go live with relatives in Mistral and enrolled in the Haven Academy. That's probably why he's in Haven, is that he's lost something or he's looking for something, and it led him to Mistral. And he's learned how to fight along the way. It's like Blake said, when you live outside the kingdoms, you either fight or you die. So you learn how to fight fairly quickly when you live outside the kingdoms. It becomes second nature, just like us. It's just like us looking at our phones for stuff. I mean, it becomes second nature. It's become second nature since the smartphone has been released. To look at our phones, look at something on our phones. It's become second nature. Probably that's why. Computers the same way. We look stuff up on the computers all the time. Second nature. So that's probably what that is like. Now, Team Sun, they did pretty good in that Vile Festival fight. And it was shocking, as Ublek put it. Now, he was trying to make a pun there. I've made a few on this theory myself. But I haven't said any of them here. I've said them in previous videos or something. Now, Volume 5, I know, is probably going to be the preparation for the fall of Haven. So they learned what to do with Beacon. They followed Beacon happen first. So they learned what to do for the fall of Beacon. Now, from the fall of Beacon. So now they know that they can get what they want. Now they know how to get what they want faster, easier, better. Beacon was essentially a test run, and it worked. The problem is that they had the Fall Maiden there, which makes it harder, which means that they have to concentrate more on getting Dust, on getting Grim, on getting whatever the supplies they needed and used at the Fall of Beacon. But they need to probably double that because they didn't have the Fall Maiden there to help. The Fall Maiden was probably... or Cinder would probably did a lot at the Fall of Beacon, but at the Fall of Haven she's probably going to be doing nothing because she's too busy trying to learn her powers. Now that's just a theory, but the Fall of Haven I say is going to come Volume 6, because Volume 4 you hear preparations, you hear Ironwood tell Jacques Schnee that Winter has written a report, and the report says that there are more dust sales, more weapon sales than it's been a spike in weapon sales. I mean, you see it's like that, and then you see this huge spike in sales. Someone's planning something at Mistral. They should have seen this at Haven because Torture was stealing dust left and right. Except, as I said in my Inspector Ruby Theory Part 1, he did not expect Ruby to be there, therefore, which caused him to use stuff that he didn't need. Which caused him, men he hired to die, which means they couldn't be returned. Therefore, boom. Like he says, they never came back. Well, because they're dead, boy. They're dead, son. They dead. They gone. And, like in my... like for the Ruby episode, like I said, she was unexpectedly there, and that's what set up the whole series. Like, you should be like, you could, if you knew the whole series, but you're showing someone who's never seen it before, you could easily tell them that what's going to happen. But if you want to keep them in suspense, you don't tell them anything. Like, I'm like, okay, he's stealing dust at the beginning of the episode. He's got to be preparing for something. You don't see that in Volume 1. You don't see it in Volume 2. You see it in Volume 3. You see the preparations just blow up in Volume 3. You see them blow up in Volume 3. And in Volume 3, the preparations are sort of sped up. I don't know. Volume 2, I know they're sped up quite a bit because Ruby was unexpectedly at 2 places at once. 2 places 2 times in the theory. In Volume 2. So, that was unexpectedly sped up. thereby, which probably led to them using a decreased amount of grim that they wanted. If they wanted like 6 million grim, they probably wound up with about 4 million. They probably wound up with less of what they needed than what they got. Now the dust they got plenty of. I mean, they're in a freaking warehouse with dust vials and crystals that they know what to do with. There's more there than they need. So, you know, they're transporting that somehow. But was it on the train? It might have been on the train and set up as an explosive for that hole for the Grim. They probably used the dust for the explosive they used to blow holes in the Grim. For the Grim. In the subway system. Now, I know, I'm getting off on my tangents again. I do it all the time. But in Volume 5, I know Team RWBY needs to get some better fighting more. They've only had 1 year. They got 3 years of training left to go. 3 years of training left to go. Now, I might have explained this in the last Volume 5 video I did. I don't remember if I did or not. I don't have it with me right now. I'm not looking for it at all either right now. Now, since we know that Weiss ran away, she's probably got no money at all. None whatsoever. So she's running to Winter for help. Or, yeah, so to speak, help on her training now. Blake, she really doesn't need any more training. Jean, we know, does. But he needs to learn from someone who uses a sword and a shield. Not someone like Blake who uses just a sword and no shield. Now, Jean's shield can be used as a sword, but he has to put his sword in the sheath in his shield first before it can become the sword. The OP sword that it is. And you see that in Volume 4. So I'm thinking that was an upgrade that they made in Volume 4. You can tell because of the metal. It's that metal. So Jean needs to learn from someone to use a sword and a shield, but he can also learn from Blake how to use just the sword. Learn from Blake about the sword play, but hers is a sword, her sheath is also a sword, and she has a gun. So she's got 3 weapons, essentially. So she has like a 2-part sword and a gun. Now that is not bad, but not as good as Crow's weapon. And like I said before, in my last RWBY Volume 5 theory was that the Huntsman Academies train you to fight the Grim. The Huntsman Academies that train you to fight the Grim, and then you have the Combat Academies, the combat schools that train you how to use your weapon, how to fight. Essentially, let's learn how to fight. And you spend all those years learning how to fight, and then you go and learn about the Grim and stuff. That's what the Huntsman Academy, I guess, are for. They train you about the Grim and how to fight everyone else, which is not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Great works. It works, but Volume 5. I mean, I want to see Team RWBY get back together and try to do a little more training before the fall of Haven. Now, we know that it took 3 volumes for Bacon to fall and for, like, 1 year. Well, no. The first 2 volumes were 1 semester each. You then have Volume 3, which is the Vital Fest, which was in fall. So my guess is that they're always in school. They're always in school. Always, always, always. So they have, I guess, 4 semesters a year. 1 per season. You got the summer semester, you got the winter, you got the spring semester, the summer semester, the fall semester, and then the winter semester. Unless they run their school system like we do. And they have, like, all year long, though. Like, they have semester 1, which is, like, August to Christmas. And then spring from New Year's break, at the end of New Year's break, which is, like, the first week after New Year's. Like, depending on what school you go to, probably, like, the first week after New Year's. On to whenever your school is done. Whenever your school has to be done. Because you know that some of the public schools here in America run longer than the summer. And some go to like July and some will go to like May. But it depends as to how many days off you've had as to if you have to run over. Because I know that in the northern part of America, like Maine, New York and stuff, if those schools have a snow day, they have to put that into their summer break, which means they get less summer, and so they get more time to play. But they used to not do that. They used to run school, rain, sleet, snow, didn't matter. Unless you were sick, then you didn't go. But if you were sick, you didn't go. So, and this was back in the 1800s, back when they had the one-room schoolhouses here in America. Now, that was only in the West, back when it was being first conquered, essentially I should say that. But, sorry, I keep going off on tangents. I do it all the time. So I'm going to end this one here. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like button down below. If you're new, please subscribe and hit the notification so you know when I upload. Thank you, and bye.